Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to Oris Talks Football, where, of course, it's that time of the week again, Game Week 20. We've got the preview coming, all the games right in the fingertips. But before we start, we have to give a massive shout out to our sponsor, Propertings Kitchen. Make sure you check them out in the East End of London, producing the finest delicacies one could wish for. So, without further ado, let's get our guests on the show. First, we've got Luca, the man himself, the Arsenal legend. How are you, Luca?
I'm good, man.
We love to hear it. So welcome, Luca. We've got Ollie, another resident Arsenal fan, the DJ himself. How's it going, Ollie?
Yeah, all good.
Looks like we're getting flooded with a lot of Arsenal fans. And finally, we've got the man himself, Yippee-I-O, Bailey Francis, the Villa fan. How's it going, Bailey?
Good, thank you.
Yep, good. Thank you very much. Yeah. And finally, we've got the man himself, Orist. As the name goes, Orist Talks Football. How's it going, Orist?
Not bad, man. Yourself?
Very well on this fine evening. And before we start, we have to obviously give a massive shout out to all the followers that are watching currently. Make sure to hit a like before we start. And now that we're starting, let's go straight into it. The first game we're going to be discussing of match day 20 is Aston Villa versus Leeds. And who we're going to start? Who else but Bailey? Let's start off with the man himself, the whole 10's finest. Bailey, thoughts in this game? What do you reckon? Do you fancy Villa's chances after that loss to Stevenage, which was heartbreaking? What do you reckon will happen in this game for the Villa?
We have to win this. We should have beat Wolves, and that was just disappointed. But we should be beating Leeds. Leeds are like that team. They're mid-table, aren't they? But yeah, I think we can win this. I think, of course, we've signed a new player, Alex Moreno, yesterday. He's set to start tomorrow. And Matty Cash will be injured. We've got loads of injuries, so it's going to be a close one. But I think we'll win 2-1.
2-1 to the Villa. I think it's a big performance that's needed. I mean, currently Leeds are on 17 points, Villa on 22. I mean, Ollie, do you agree with Bailey? Do you think the Villa will make it 3 wins on the bounce, or do you think that Leeds will spring an upset at Villa Park?
I agree with him. Yeah, 2-1. I think Aston Villa will win this game. They're at home. Leeds aren't doing well at the moment, but yeah, I think they'll easily win this game. And yeah.
Do you agree as well, Luca? Do you think that Villa are going to turn over Leeds, or do you think Marsh and his men are going to produce
For me,
a good away win?
Aston Villa should win this game, to be honest, because I just feel like Leeds are just like both teams are just a bit like inconsistent, in my opinion. I think Villa are going to have to win this game. Like, to lose to Stevenage in the FA Cup, I'm very surprised. I saw that. And for me, I just feel like Leeds are one of those teams where they're a bit unpredictable. Okay, like we played them at Ellen Road early in the season. Funny enough, we got away with a 1-0 win. And Leeds, for me, should have walked out with a result in that game. But I'm going for an Aston Villa win in this game.
So, Oris, you just heard Luca talk about how the Arsenal won 1-0 at Ellen Road. He thought Leeds probably were worth their victory. I mean, realistically, Leeds currently, they're 2 points above the relegation zone. So it's a big game for Leeds in terms of should they lose this game and the other teams below them win, then that means that Leeds could slip into the bottom 3. So do you think that Leeds are going to win, or do you also agree with the lads in terms of it's going to be another Villa win?
For me, this is a huge game for Leeds because obviously, if you look at the results, they beat obviously Liverpool at their own ground. So Leeds, they've been hit and miss really with Leeds, but they have to win this. But yeah, with Aston Villa, they're also a bit inconsistent. But I do think I think Aston Villa will turn around and will win this game. But it won't be easy for Aston Villa. It will be hard for both teams. But for me, I still think Aston Villa will win. But Leeds, for me, I've been liking them this season, but then again, consistency has been an issue for them.
No, agreed. And just before we move on to the next game, I do want to say that in that Villa game previously in the Premier League, they played Wolves. And I know we've got Bailey in our stream at the moment, but Leon Bailey himself missed a crucial chance at the end. So we better hope that any Bailey that's playing has their shooting boots on, for there will be many goals scored. But speaking of Wolves, and let's keep it in the West Midlands. We've got a massive game on Saturday between Wolves and West Ham. Now, this is a massive game in terms of a relegation battle. So, for example, Wolves are currently 19th with 14 points. West Ham are 17 with 15 points. So you could say it's a relegation 6-pointer. Whoever wins will it be a massive step in terms of survival. So the question is, and I'm going to go to Luca with this one, who is going to be winning or maybe even draw? But who do you think will win this crunch game on Saturday?
For me, Wolves were very unlucky last night in the penalty shootout. Nottingham Forest, for me, had to turn up in that game and ruin Wolves' chances. West Ham are not on good form. Both teams have been crap this season. But I actually fancy a West Ham win because Wolves are very, very, very poor. They're not really going anywhere this season. Yes, of course, they will be very disappointed. Like you've seen in previous seasons, Wolves were challenging top 7, top 8. And ever since Arsenal done the double over them last season, their confidence went down ever since then. Because before that game, when we played Wolves, when Lacazette scored the winning goal, right, Wolves were on very good height. They were very good confidence. But for me, they've not been that great this season. But West Ham themselves, West Ham, for me, they have to win this game because West Ham need this more. Because if they lose this game, fans are going to start getting on David Moyes, and they already are at the moment. For me, if I was a West Ham fan sitting right now, right, I wouldn't sack David Moyes. Think about what David Moyes has done.
Yeah.
Right, he took West Ham to a Europa League semi-final. He's just having a bad season. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I think West Ham are going to win this game. I really do. I really do think they will beat Wolves. I think Wolves are bad, in my opinion. I think West Ham have a bit of. Look, Wolves is a very difficult place to go to, but I think West Ham are going to win 1-0 in this game.
1-0. That's an interesting scoreline, especially as he drinks that can of Coke. Is he drinking in the tears of the Wolves fan after last season? We don't know. But listen, we're going to keep it in the Arsenal camp. And Ollie, you've heard obviously Luca mention how when Arsenal done the double over Wolves last season, they've kind of changed. I mean, they've got Lopetegui in now as manager. It's going to take some time for him to adjust as well to the Premier League. I mean, they drew 1-1 previously to Bailey's Villa. Do you also think that West Ham are going to win in what is a crucial game? Because, I mean, you know, Luca's mentioned it. The fans could turn against David Moyes. So what do you reckon? Do you think West Ham are going to win, or do you think Wolves are going to win in Lopetegui's first ever dub for the club?
I think, West Ham will win this game. I'm going to go with the 2-1. I think Wolves will score. But West Ham are the better team. Is a bit of a relegation battle. You know, West Ham not doing, too well there. 17th and Wolves, they kind of want to win this game to possibly get out of the relegation zone. Moving on to, I want to talk about the Wolves game. I did predict a Nottingham Forest penalty shootout win, just randomly, and I thought they would win. It's a good win for Forest. I don't think they're going to win it, but the Carabao Cup, but it's a good win for them. I think, Wolves probably need to win this game more, but I think West Ham are the favourites in this game, and I'm going to go with the 2-1 win for West Ham.
Okay, interesting. That's 2 for the Irons. I mean, I'm going to go straight to Orest here. I mean, if we're looking at West Ham's form, Lucas kind of, touched upon it in terms of how badly they're playing at the moment. They've lost 4 times in a row in their previous 5 matches in the Premier League, West Ham. Wolves have lost 2 of their previous 3. Where do you reckon the game will be won and lost in this match?
For me, as Lucas said, West Ham have to win this game, man. They have to get a result. Because if they don't, then David Moyes, for me, I wouldn't sack him if I was part of the West Ham. But where I can see this game won and lost, for me, I think it's the midfield battle, man. Obviously, Declan Rice, he's been linked heavily with Arsenal and Chelsea. But for me, it's the midfield battle because I don't know if Declan Rice has been the same, man. He's been a bit quiet. Same with Souček. So midfield battle is key because obviously Ruben Neves with Wolves, they got Ruben Neves, Moutinho and stuff. So it's going to be interesting with midfield battle. Obviously, Wolves, I think today what I saw is they've permanently agreed to get Matheus Cunha for permanent now. So for me, he's only played 3 games and clearly Lopetegui has liked him. So for me, Cunha is one to watch for West Ham, man, because West Ham at the back, there's not that much pace, and Cunha, he's got a lot of pace. So I would say for West Ham's defense, look out for Matheus Cunha for me.
Definitely. I think that's a good shout. I mean, they've even got players like Skamaka who will obviously be a threat. That he obviously scored against Leeds. You've got Paqueta as well, who's also a very talented player. I mean, Bailey, do you agree with the lads in terms of it's going to be a West Ham win, or do you think that your West Midland rivals in Wolverhampton Wanderers can spring up a win in this match?
Nah, I think it's all West Ham.
Hmm.
I hate Wolves, you can tell, but I think I think David Moyes is a good manager. I don't think they should sack him, but West Ham have been playing a bit poor this season, and Wolves are as well. They brought in a new manager. They probably should have beat Villa, but I think West Ham will win 2-0.
2-0. So, as you're hearing, guys, a clean sweep for West Ham. Let us know, do you think it's going to be a West Ham win, or do you think that Wolves under Lopetegui will get the dub? And moving on to the next one, I mean, Ollie, for example, mentioned it. Nottingham Forest, obviously, they won the penalty shootout against Wolverhampton. They've got a huge game as well on the weekend. So they've got Leicester City in an East Midlands derby. It's a huge game. Both teams on 17 points, bragging rights on the line. I'm going to go straight to Ollie because he mentioned how he predicted the Nottingham Forest win. Ollie, thoughts on this game? Who do you think comes out on top?
I'm going to go with a draw in this game. I think Nottingham Forest can get something out of this. I know Joel quite likes them because his dad supports Nottingham Forest, and yeah, as I said, I predicted them to win the penalty shootout. I don't know why, I just wanted them to win. I don't know. Leicester aren't doing too well as well, and I think that they could possibly win this game, but I'm just going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think Forest could easily win this game. Leicester aren't doing too well. I mean, they've improved from they were bottom of the league at one point, which was quite bad for them, but they've improved. But no, I want Forest to win, but I'm going to go with a draw, and I think that'll be a good result for Forest.
Okay, so it's a draw. I mean, it's potential. I mean, it's a derby. Anything's possible. 1-1, I don't think would be a bad result for either team, to be fair. But we're going to move this to Orest, obviously, because we obviously mentioned Nottingham Forest. We've seen Man United have drawn Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup semis. And we're not obviously here to talk about the Carabao Cup because this is a Premier League prediction or preview video. But listen, Leicester, like Ollie might have mentioned, they haven't been playing great this season. They were bottom at some stage in the season. They're on the back of 2 wins now. So they've won a few games. They've sprung up a little bit of a run. Obviously, Forest, they've had that massive draw against Chelsea. They won the game before then. Orest, what do you reckon? Do you think it's going to be a draw? Do you think that one of these teams will win the bragging rights on Derby Day?
This match for me is going to be nice because it's going to be electric at Nottingham Forest, and the fans will be out for it. I could see a draw here, man. I could see a 1-1 draw, but I do think there's going to be a goal in the last minute. There's going to be absolute scenes, but I don't know who's going to score the last minute, but I think there will be a last goal screamer. And with Nottingham Forest, obviously, Dean Henderson, former Manchester United player on loan from us, he's been probably one of their best players. Lingard's been a bit quiet, but with Nottingham Forest, and they're still making some signings. But yeah, with Leicester, remember at the beginning, everyone was calling for Brendan Rodgers to get sacked, to go. But he's kind of turned that around a bit. But for me, I think Brendan Rodgers will take a draw. But for me, 1-1 for me.
1-1, so another stalemate in the derby. I'm going to take this over to Bailey now. I mean, Forest, obviously, and Leicester, I know they're in the East Midlands. Villa themselves are from the West Midlands. But what do you reckon? Do you think that the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White are going to get Nottingham Forest over the line? I mean, we've got a comment here by KB Sports that says Forest need to win this game badly. They're winning the Carabao Cup will give them a huge lift. Agreed. Do you think, Bailey, that win in the Carabao Cup will lift them over the Foxes?
Yeah, Forest are better at home than away. And Leicester haven't really been playing that good this season. So I think Forest will win. They've got good players. They've got a good manager in Steve Cooper. So I think Forest will win 3-1.
3-1 Forest, very confident. I mean, obviously, on the back of that massive win, I think it was against Fulham where they won, which was a massive win. But 3-1, I mean, Luca, so far it's been either a stalemate or a Forest win. I mean, being an Arsenal fan, we know a couple seasons ago when Arsenal went over there for the FA Cup, obviously you guys lost. Do you think that the Foxes are going to win on Derby Day? Or do you think that Forest are going to make it like the Fortress, like Bailey's mentioned, and win over Leicester?
For me, I think this game, look, Leicester are one of those teams where they've been so poor this season, right? Leicester, for me, like I didn't expect at the start of the season that Leicester were going to be in this situation, but they've been so poor, right? And their defense has been so woeful. For me, Nottingham Forest, right? They've been poor this season, but at home they look very good with decent form because Forest always turn up their game at home. It's always a difficult place to go to. I can see this game being a Nottingham Forest win, but I don't think there'll be many goals in this game. I can see Forest winning 1-0 in this game. I don't even see Leicester scoring in this game because I think look, as an Arsenal fan, I'm more confident for Nottingham Forest to keep a clean sheet in this game because they're going to be up for this game.
Yeah.
They're in the semi-final against Manchester United, and for me, Nottingham Forest, they'll want to go into this game full of confidence. Like if they win this game, then people are going to be like, you know what, Forest can actually have got a very good chance of staying up because that's going to give them confidence. Where Leicester, they haven't really got anything to play this season. They're not in a relegation battle, Leicester. So I'm going 1-0 Forest.
1-0 Forest. There you hear it, guys. We're looking for a Forest win, maybe even a draw. It's going to be a tight affair. It's going to be a good game. And speaking of another big game at the bottom of the table, we've got Everton taking on Southampton in what is a huge, huge clash. As we know, Southampton are currently bottom of the Premier League with 12 points. They've lost their last 5 games. Everton are 18th with 15 points. They've lost 4 of their previous 5 games. It's a 6-pointer. Southampton win. They will go above Everton potentially, depending on goal difference. They'll probably be sticking above Wolves instead. If Everton win this, they'll find themselves outside of the relegation zone. It's a huge game. I'm going to come straight to Orist on this one. What do you reckon? Do you think Mr. Frank Lampard will get the massive, massive win that he needs to relieve pressure under him? Or do you think Southampton will potentially, on the crest of beating Manchester City, win in what is a huge game for both teams?
You said his name wrong. It's Fat Lampard, but for me, Everton, man. I have no words to say to them. I feel for their fans, man. Honestly, I feel because they've been showing the frustration. Like every after game, they've been putting up banners saying we want Frank Lampard out, we sell the club and stuff like that. So I do feel the frustration, but they've been poor, man. Home and away, they've been poor. And the football that, especially at home at Goodison Park. The football that they've been playing is atrocious, man. You're at Goodison Park. You're meant to be playing good football, man. Because at Goodison Park, the atmosphere for me is too much, man. For me, their fans are the reason why they didn't get relegated last season because their fans were up for it almost every game. So for me, yeah, unfortunately, I see Everton losing this game, man. 2-1 Southampton. Obviously, Southampton knocked out seeing the Carabao Cup. It's what we like to see as Manchester United fans. But yeah, Southampton, obviously Nathan Jones, he's mixed because also Southampton fans, they've been doing chants saying get him out and stuff. So that win against Southampton will give them some boost. So for me, Southampton to win this.
Southampton to win, put more pressure on Frank Lampard. I mean, KB Sports mentions here these teams are both trash. He sounds like he's an American from across the pond because we don't say trash over here. We say rubbish or garbage. And he certainly would not put this game on my ACCA to win 1-1. So maybe he is English after all because we do a lot of ACCAs here. But let's see. I mean, I want to go straight to Luca now with this one. I mean, Southampton, there's another side that gave Arsenal, a good game this season, to be fair. That's another team that Arsenal, dropped points against. Arsenal have not dropped many points this season, but that was one of those teams. So you have to give credit where it's due. Do you think, like Ores, that Southampton will win this game? Or do you think Frank Lampard wins in a massive game for his career at Everton?
This game is a funny game, in my opinion. Like, 2 crap teams this season are so inconsistent. Southampton last night shocked the world. Beat Manchester City 2-0. Man City put an A+B team out yesterday, bit of mixture. And for me, I don't know about this game, man. I think Southampton will win this because Everton are so poor. The pressure's on Frank Lampard. They're in a proper mess. Like, I remember back in the day when Everton had people like Andy Johnson, Yakubu, Pienaar, all these players back in the day, right? And Landon Donovan, prime player. But for me, Everton are so poor at the moment, and they've gone from like top 6, top 7 under David Moyes' days into a relegation team. It's mad for a big club like that. Second biggest club in Liverpool, right? Behind Liverpool. And for me, right, they're in like a relegation. And you've got people like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, right? Who probably scores like 3 goals a season now, right? And then you've got people like Iwobi, right, which is decent, but his end product needs to improve. Southampton, for me, they haven't got many decent players. Nathan Jones, when he first got the job, was a bit of a strange one, in my opinion. But I think Southampton will win this game, and I'm going for a 2-1 Southampton.
2-1 Southampton. That's another 2-1 for Southampton. I mean, KB Sports is from Southampton. Doesn't sound like he sports Southampton, though, so that's interesting. I'd like to know who he supports.
Arsenal, logo.
Arsenal.
But listen, speaking of, 2-1 Southampton managers, Bailey, of course, you had an legend managing your club at one stage this season in Steven Gerrard. Obviously, we know Frank Lampard is a legend of the game. Do you think his tenure comes to an end should Southampton win, if that's what you think in this game?
I think Frank Lampard needs to go. Literally,
Really? Okay.
I think I've got Nathan Jones and for Southampton and a Premier League manager either. So it was a funny choice to get him in for Southampton. But I think this will be sure. Can't see anyone winning this. So I'm gonna go 1-1.
1-1. I think that probably suits Everton more than Southampton. I mean, Ollie, do you agree with Bailey, or are you more in the camp of Luca and Orest in terms of it's going to be a 2-1 win for Nathan Jones's Saints?
I agree with Bailey. I think it'll be a bit of a boring game. Relegation games are a bit boring, but I think it'll be a 0-0. I don't see any team scoring. Maybe both teams keeping a clean sheet. Jordan Pickford's a good keeper. They've got a few decent defenders. But both teams don't have very strong teams. Like, I don't see anyone scoring. Southampton might win or Everton home advantage, but I think both teams don't have the best managers and best team. And I don't want to be boring and keep predicting draws, but yeah, probably a 0-0 for me.
Seems like Ollie's sitting on the fence. You better hope it's not a spiky fence, otherwise something's going to be going up his arse that you won't really like. But listen, we're going to keep it in Liverpool, because we're going to, as Lucas said, the biggest club in Liverpool, and that is obviously Liverpool FC, the Reds. They've got a massive game. They are playing Brighton in what is a huge game for European qualification. Just in general, really, is it going to be a sign of things to come for the rest of the season for Liverpool, Brighton, whatever? I mean, like, Liverpool are sitting on 28 points and 7th. Brighton are literally a point behind them, 17th. Whoever wins will obviously either leapfrog themselves into 6th, or they'll stay where they are. I mean, I'm going to go straight to Bailey on this one. Who do you reckon is going to win this? Do you think that the likes of Cody Glockpo, as people have called him, will fire Liverpool to the win? Or do you think that McAllister, back on the crest of that crazy World Cup win, will help Brighton find some gold and win this match at Anfield? Sorry, at home in the Amex.
I think Brighton is a really good team this season. They have been like the last couple of seasons. Of course, Potter left them. They got a new manager and went on a bad run of form, but then they picked it up now. And I think Liverpool been awful this season. They've got good players like Mo Salah and all that, but they've been really awful this season. And they didn't expect. They should have lost against Villa as well. They was just shocking. But I think they'll pick up the win here, but it won't surprise me if Brighton win this. I'm going to go 2-1 to Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. That's another clean sheet gone for Liverpool. A team that used to pride themselves on clean sheets with Alisson and that formidable defence.
Just to break up. Sorry, Sonny. 1-0 Fulham. Willian has scored. So,
Willian scored 1-0 Fulham. I can't believe it. Willian scored.
To be fair, I think everyone watching this stream could see that Luca literally...
Luca said in the background, Luca, you predicted it, mate.
You predicted a Willian goal.
Luca was ready for it. Luca was ready. He had his fingers primed. He was just waiting. He was brimming. He was like an ex-Chelsea player and, of course, an ex-Arsenal player has scored against Chelsea. It's great to
Willian,
see
yeah.
in the derby, in the West London derby. But I'm going to go to Luca on this one. I mean, you're looking at Liverpool. Arsenal are a side that beat Liverpool in a very good game, to be fair, at the Emirates. I mean, Liverpool's form in the last 5 games, they're on a really good streak. There were 4 games, on the bounce they won. Then they came up against Brentford, a team that I'm sure Arsenal have actually beaten at their stadium as well. It was a very, very good win for the Arsenal. So the question is, Luca, do you think Liverpool are going to beat Brighton or following the footsteps of the Arsenal, or do you think that Brighton are going to turn over Klopp's
For
Reds?
me, this game is a funny one, in my opinion, because Liverpool have been so poor and so inconsistent this season, in my opinion. Like, we found it difficult, we found it difficult in the second half against Brighton, but we put 4 past them a couple of weeks ago, right? Which I was very, very shocked. My prediction in that game, I think I went for a draw in that game on my preview. I can't even remember. But for me, I fancy Liverpool winning this. I don't know why, right? It is a type of game where you look at it and think, nah, the way Liverpool are playing at the moment, Liverpool drawing to Wolves, losing to Brentford, teams like that, you're thinking right now, Brighton are going to win this. Because Brighton got Moise Caicedo and they've got McAllister, who are both being linked to Chelsea, in my opinion. I think Liverpool will win this game. I really do, because I think it's putting pressure on Jurgen Klopp. Brighton will go into this game as favourites, in my opinion, full of confidence at home. They've got their players back. McAllister and Caicedo didn't play. And if them two would have played, who knows? They could have made a comeback and drawn 4-4 against Arsenal. So if that third goal wasn't disallowed. So we put the first half against Brighton, we were brilliant in that game. And then last 20 minutes, we switched off. And I'm going for Liverpool winning this game. I know a lot of people have gone for 2-2 draws, 2-1 Brightons I see on other channels. But I'm going for Liverpool to win this game. I'm going to go for 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. That's another 2-1 Liverpool, another Liverpool win. I mean, I'm going to come straight to you, Ollie. I mean, Lucas mentioned, the midfielders, Caicedo and McAllister. I mean, that for me is where the game will be won and lost, that midfield battle. We all know Liverpool struggled in the midfield this season. Is that where you think the game will be won and lost? And do you also think, though, that Liverpool will win, or do you think Brighton will potentially cause an upset and win this game instead?
I think Brighton could cause an upset, but I'm going to go with the Liverpool win. They could shock us. They could lose. I mean, they did do quite well against Arsenal. They scored 2 goals against us, but they didn't win the game. I think, Liverpool should win. They've been quite poor this season. I actually been a bit surprised of how badly I've done. And I've got a prediction. I don't think they'll get top 4 this season, which surprises me. They'll probably get 5th or 6th, but I don't think they will. I think they'll win this game 3-0 though. Gakpo on his debut didn't do that well, but I think he'll do well this game. And Salah, hasn't been performing. Maybe he'll get that well. Maybe he'll get a goal. But I think Brighton maybe score 3-1 actually. But I think a Liverpool win here. That's what's going to happen for me. And I don't think Brighton will upset.
Very, very confident Ollie by the sounds of it. 3-0. I mean, that's the highest scoreline so far. Then he changed it to 3-1. I was like, come on, Ollie. For once, though, Ollie's not sitting on the fence. So that's a pretty good thing. It's not a draw anymore, which is good to hear. But listen, before obviously we go here, Ores Talks. I mean, we've seen a comment here from Ardeep. Big up the panel. Like I said, make sure to smash a like if you haven't already done so. Comment if you can. But listen, Ores, we're going to end it with you in terms of this fixture. Liverpool, Brighton, obviously. The lads have mentioned Gakpo. He was a player that could have gone to Man United. Do you think he's going to be a big difference maker in this game for Liverpool, or do you think that Brighton could spring an upset?
I think Brighton winning this, man. Brighton going Gakpo is a fraud. Listen, I know Traps is probably watching me, but listen. We all expected Gakpo to join Man United, but it didn't happen. We didn't want to pay the fee, but listen. I've seen that Darwin Núñez and Fabinho are both out, so that's huge for Liverpool, man. That is very huge. So for me, Brighton this season they've been good. They've been good under De Zerbi, man. Very good under De Zerbi, man. They've been playing good football in some of the games. Obviously, some games they've lost, but man, I do think Brighton will win this, and I want to go with 3-1 Brighton.
thought you were on Brighton, so he's gone for the
Gosh.
opposite of Ollie. So
Oh
that's
my
an
God.
interesting
Ooh.
one. I mean, let's hear your thoughts in the comments, guys. Before we move on to the next fixture, which is obviously we're going to talk about, is Newcastle and Fulham. Just want to welcome Flair to the stream. Hope you're doing well, Flair.
Big up, mate. Of course I am. As always. How about you?
Yep, thank you very much for asking. We're all well here. So let's go straight into Newcastle versus Fulham. You know, Oris mentioned, you know, Brighton have been a good side this season. Both these sides have been magnificent this season. Newcastle obviously are third currently. Fulham are sixth. And as you guys were made aware from Hardeep and Luca, they are currently beating Chelsea 1-0 courtesy of a Willian goal. I'm going to go straight to Flair on this one. How do you see this game playing out, Newcastle-Fulham? Do you think Newcastle are going to win? Or do you think Fulham are going to win this one?
Yeah, man. Obviously, Newcastle look like a very good side this season. Looking at their form and how they've adapted the players using the money that they've got from the Saudi Arabian owners. So, I think I think they could win it. I'd go with a Newcastle win for that one. I'd have to say like 2-0 or something like that because I don't think Fulham will be defensively great enough to stop this Newcastle attack this season. Look out for players like Almiron and stuff like that who have been spectacular this season. So I think I'm going for a Newcastle win.
A Newcastle win. He sounds very confident. I mean, I'm going to go to you, Orist, on this one. Do you also fancy a Newcastle win? I mean, they're playing at home. They haven't actually lost a game at home this season. They're playing well. They're very hard to beat. Resolute defense. They get goals. Do you also think Newcastle are going to win, or do you think the likes of Mitrovic and Marco Silva are going to spring a surprise?
Yeah, for me, Newcastle win this 2-0 for me. They're going to keep on winning. I don't know when they're going to stop losing at their own ground, but yeah, man, they've been playing good football. And Eddie Almiron, obviously, Grealish proving himself wrong, but yeah, and Newcastle playing very good. Trippier as well. Dan Burn for me, he doesn't get talked about enough for me.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
Dan Burn,
Yeah.
Dan Burn has been sensational, man. Underrated for me. And also their midfielders, Bruno Gomes and stuff. So Newcastle win this 2-0.
Have you seen Dan Burn's car?
Yeah.
What is it? What's his
Big,
car?
fat 6 foot guy fits in like a little mini Fiat.
He's a sensible guy in the cost of living crisis. He's not spending ridiculous amounts of money on a car that it's not going to work. But listen, that's another 2-0 in the bank for Newcastle. Speaking of bank, we know they've got a lot of money.
And for Dan Burn.
Newcastle. KB Sports reckons 3-0 to Newcastle. Ollie, do you also think it's going to be a clean sheet win for Newcastle, or do you think Fulham are going to spring a surprise?
Yeah, this is going to be a Newcastle win. Obviously, they're doing very well. Everyone's mentioned Almiron. He's been brilliant. If you have him in FPL, he's been doing very well in there. He's been scoring a lot of goals and stuff. And yeah, they got a good team. I think they'll fall off though. They're third at the moment. I don't think they're good enough for top 4. They might get 5th or 6th, but yeah, they're doing well at the moment. They might start losing games. I'm a bit obviously. I think we beat them at home, but I'm worried away that they're doing well at home and they've got to win this game. But Mitrovic will be back in this game, and they're doing. They're beating Chelsea and they're doing well. They're 6th now, which is quite good for them. Yeah, I think this will be a Newcastle win. I do think they can keep a clean sheet, but I reckon 2-1 because I reckon Mitrovic will get a goal. He usually always scores, even if they lose, he scores. But yeah, good win for them against Leicester as well. Dan Burn getting the goal, great goal, good performance in that. So I think they won't lose this game. They got a good home record. Fulham, they're good, but they're not good enough to beat Newcastle. Leno as well from Arsenal, but he's been doing well for Fulham, and they look like a good team. But I think 2-1 Newcastle. I think Fulham will score, but Newcastle will probably goal from Almiron and maybe Wilson or Joel Linton or something. But yeah, nothing but a Newcastle win in this one, I think.
Yeah, I think I can get the gist of what the panel thinks in terms of who's going to win this game. I mean, before we move on to Luca, because obviously he's another Arsenal fan, Ollie mentioned that he thought, Arsenal had beaten Newcastle this season. It wasn't the case. I think it was 0-0. The only team that has beaten.
Oh yeah,
Newcastle.
sorry, 0-0. Yeah,
it's all right.
0-0.
It's all right. It happens.
I forgot.
Happens to the best of us. We're all professionals here. At the end of the day, the team that did beat Newcastle was a team that we previously just spoken about, Liverpool, when Fabio Carvalho, I think his name is. He scored right at the end for them in the 90th minute. But Luca, we're going to you. We saw that massive game last week between yourselves and Newcastle. It was a great game. Ended up being 0-0. Some interesting refereeing decisions. But do you think Newcastle are going to be beating Fulham, or do you think Fulham, with the likes of Mitrovic, Palhinha, they will spring a surprise and win this game?
I think Newcastle will win this game because Newcastle at home, they're looking very good this season. Surprisingly, Of course, Fulham are winning 1-0 at the moment. It is a type of game where they'll raise their game against Chelsea. It is a West London derby, so it's just around the corner. So I think Newcastle, for me, will win this game because Newcastle gave us a tough game at the Emirates last week, and they were very defensive in that game. Although Arsenal, we should have had a penalty in that game. So we should have had two, in my opinion, and we should have won the game. But Newcastle, for me, look very fantastic this season. Eddie Howe is a manager. There's a connection in the club. The fans look very, very good. Characteristic. They look very organised in Newcastle. You've got to go with a home win in this one. I'm going 3-0 Newcastle.
3-0 Newcastle, very confident. Before we move on to Bailey's opinion, Luca, do you think they make top four? Do you agree with Ollie in terms of they won't make top 4?
Newcastle, for me, will get third, in my opinion.
Wow. Interesting. Above Man United, that's an interesting
United
choice.
will get 4.
Interesting choice. I mean, we're going to finish off this fixture with Bailey, the man himself. Do you think it's going to be a Newcastle win as well? Or are you going to upset the apple cart and think that Fulham, who are currently winning, obviously, this game against Chelsea, if they win this game, that'll be 4 wins on the bounce for them. So they'll be going into this game with some very good form. Do you think that might make an effect in this game, or do you think it's going to be a Newcastle win with the Gallagher singing Eddie Howe's name in high esteem?
Yeah, I don't think Newcastle will win, but I don't think Fulham will win. I think it'll be a really close game. I think Fulham are playing really good at the minute. But yeah, they've got good players. I've got Newcastle are on fire this season. I do think they'll get top 4. So I'm gonna go 2-2.
2-2. A stalemate, scoring draw.
Newcastle.
No, Ollie is Premier League. It's Premier League. You never know.
But to be fair, one thing I will say with Bailey before we move on to the next fixture is Newcastle have drawn 8 games this season. They are very hard to beat. The fact they've drawn 8 games is crazy. That's a large amount of games that they've already drawn. So it might be, and like Bailey mentioned, Fulham are playing really good anyway. So they might end up getting a draw. We're going to stick in West London. We're going to stick in with the side that is currently playing Fulham and currently losing to Fulham, and that is Chelsea, because not only do they have a massive game today against Fulham in the West London derby, they've got another London derby this weekend against Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace.
Ooh.
And I'm going to start off with Ollie on this one. What do you reckon with this game? Do you think that Graham Potter's going to, weave some magic, cast a spell over this Crystal Palace side and get a win? Or do you think your ex-man, the captain, Patrick Vieira, is going to get a massive win for the Arsenal, for the Palace?
For the Arsenal. I think this would be a Chelsea win. I know they're losing at the moment, but they're at home, and I don't think Palace are the best side. I think maybe João Felix might get a goal in that game. I don't know why. But I think they'll win. They won't be a win by much. They haven't really got many goal scorers they haven't scored many goals. I think it'll be a 2-1 maybe. I mean, they're not doing well at the moment. They're 10th and they're losing. But as I said, they're at home. And if they do lose this game, they'll want to win this game. They need to start winning games. Like, they're 10th. That's not good enough for Chelsea. They need to at least be in the top 6 or whatever. But a lot of teams are surprising us. Fulham are 6th, Newcastle are 3rd. So it's been a weird season. But I think Chelsea have to win this game for me. They're at home. Their form's been bad. So I think maybe Palace will get a goal. I don't know, maybe Zaha. And then Chelsea get 2. I think it'll be 2-1. Yeah. But Chelsea, they're at home. I think they'll win this game.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting game. I mean, Bailey, I'm going to come to you. Both sides struggling with goals. Crystal Palace have only scored 17 goals this season in the league. Chelsea have only scored 20. Clearly, goals are an issue for both sides. It probably won't be high scoring. You never know with the Premier League, but what do you reckon? Do you think that Potter's going to relieve a serious amount of pressure off his shoulders, or do you think that Patrick Vieira is going to pile it onto Chelsea and Potter?
Yeah, I think Chelsea win this. So I don't think Crystal Palace been playing good this season, and I think Chelsea win this. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Chelsea win 2-1.
2-1 Chelsea. That's a massive win, not only for Potter, but for Chelsea, the fans, the players, the confidence. They definitely need it. I'm going to go straight to Luca with this one.
Yeah.
You mentioned the goals. We know Arsenal have scored plenty this season. Do you think that the signing of João Felix will have a massive impact in this game for Chelsea, or do you just think that Crystal Palace are going to put more misery onto Graham Potter?
I thought Chelsea were going to win against Fulham, and for me, I just feel this game. Like Palace have beaten Chelsea at Stamford Bridge before on a couple of occasions. I remember when they beat them 2-1 one year. João Felix for me, I think he'll be all right. I think he needs time to settle in. It's only a 6-month loan deal. Chelsea are not going to keep him until the end of the season. There's Atletico Madrid. If Felix starts producing well, right, price tags can go up. And for me, I think Felix has done okay tonight, but the thing is, he's not clinical enough. And it's only one game. And for me, Chelsea fans can't really say, "Oh God, why did we bring him in on a loan deal? Why did we not let him go to Arsenal?" Chelsea fans making a chant tonight about João Felix already about us. So for me,
What is it?
It goes like João Felix. Well, he came from Portugal. He didn't go to Arsenal, something like that.
He came from Portugal, rejected the Arsenal.
Yeah,
João Felix. Whoa.
Yeah,
Quite a good
already
chance, to be
Chelsea
fair.
fans are trending on Twitter worldwide already about João Felix. But no, this game, I said Chelsea were going to win tonight. No, I think a draw in this game.
Really?
I really do. I'm going 1-1 draw in this game.
Draw. To be fair, both teams have had very erratic form in their last 5 games. So,
Palace
you know,
Palace are very just a funny side now.
they are funny side. They don't score many goals, but when they do, they tend to win those games. So I agree. I agree with Luca. And I mean, Palace right now are on 22 points. Chelsea are on 25. You know, it's funny to think that Palace haven't
Chelsea
been
fan thinks they'll lose
this season, but that shows a lot about Chelsea fans currently. You know, the fact that the confidence is that low that they don't even think they can beat Palace at home. I mean,
what is actually wrong with Chelsea? Because for me, right, I've got a question to ask for the panel, right? Before Graham Potter got the job, right, people didn't think that Graham Potter was never managed a big club, right? And he wanted to go and manage a bigger club, was linked with the England job as well during the World Cup and before Chelsea, before he went to Chelsea from Brighton. What is it? Is it Graham Potter's fault? Is he not do they sack Graham Potter now, or do you feel like he's not even had a transfer window?
I think there's a few things to discuss before, you know, you get into whether they should sack Potter. I mean, first of all, I think we're all in agreement that Graham Potter has done a fantastic job at Brighton. There's 2 questions now to ask. Was it too early for Graham Potter to arrive at a big club potentially? But the other thing that must be factored in as well is the fact that he came at a time for Chelsea where they just had sacked Tuchel after Bowley had just come in. So new owners have just come in. They've got rid of Tuchel. They've got Graham Potter in. He hasn't even had a proper transfer window in terms of a summer to build his squad. A lot of injuries in the squad. They're playing players like, you know, Lewis Hall, for example. They played, what's his name? The lad that they got from Arsenal, the Hutchinson, I think.
Hutchinson,
right.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea are in a very interesting position because you know that if they have a proper good summer in the transfer window, they'll be back with ease. But it's going to take some time.
But it doesn't matter how Chelsea Chelsea do rubbish, right? Because for me, like when it comes to transfers, right, they do better for transfers than us, and that's the thing. But we're too slow in the transfer market, right? Whereas Chelsea, they always get their business done early sometimes.
Yeah,
that's true. But I just think as well with Potter, the one thing he's got, and you know, feel free, guys, to jump in with this. The blessing he has is the fact that Roman Abramovich is not the owner anymore. If Roman Abramovich was the owner of Chelsea, he would probably be gone after that City game, to be honest with you, knowing how trigger-happy Chelsea can be when Abramovich was in charge. Whereas with Bowley, I think he'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He knows there's a project. I think next season is the litmus test for Potter. Obviously, he'll have his summer transfer window. If it doesn't work out, then I think he'll go. But feel free, lads, to chime in what you think as well to Luca's question.
For me, I just think that Todd Bowley is just clueless, man. He's clearly incompetent. He's doing basically, he thinks he's playing FIFA, doing criminal, and all these signings. I don't know, man. He needs to explain because João Felix on loan doesn't make sense because he just signed a 4-year extension with Atletico Madrid. And Kunku, I don't understand. He's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand because you got other players like Havertz, Mason Mount, etc. And yeah, I just don't understand what Chelsea's vision are with Todd Bowley, man, because clearly he hasn't been good. Obviously they've recruited people high, like the technical directors, but clearly they're not doing anything more. They're not getting anything involved because all these signings has been from Bowley, and for me, I don't think Graham Potter has had any say on any of these signings. By the way, so who knows what's gonna happen? Because I just think Thomas Tuchel left because Bowley wanted Ronaldo. Tuchel said nah, and then they probably had an argument there. So for me, it was wrong to replace. I think Potter joined at the wrong time for me.
What do you reckon, Bailey? Do you also think that he joined at the wrong time? What do you reckon to Luca's question? Do you think that Potter might be going? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Potter did come in at a wrong time. I think, of course, Chelsea fans want Thomas Tuchel back. They're still singing about him for some reason. But yeah, I think he did come at a wrong time. I think Potter needs to sign some players now, of course. I think they've signed 3 players. So I think Chelsea might get some more. Maybe they might go for top 6 finish, I guess.
Top 6 finish. What do you reckon, Ollie? Do you think a top 6 finish? I mean, KB Sports reckons that Potter won't be Chelsea manager next season if Chelsea miss out on European football. Well, what I say to that is Expelliarmus, because we're going straight back to Ollie. And what do you reckon? Do you think that Potter will make top 6 and win the Tri-Wizard Cup, or do you think that he's finishing outside the top 6?
I don't think they'll win a cup. They're out of the Carabao Cup, and I don't think they'll win the FA Cup. And they're not. Well, they won't win the Champions League as well. I think. Yeah. They'll miss out on top 6. I think they need to get top 6, but they're 10th at the moment. They might get their form back. They might go up the table, but yeah, I agree. If he doesn't get European football, he has to go. I don't know. I mean, it's a bit early if they sacked him though. They maybe need to give him another season, but if they do poor this season, don't get top 6, he has to go. And I think he did come at a wrong time. I think they should have kept Tuchel, given him time. A lot of Chelsea fans want him back now, so it was the wrong time. And he was doing well at Brighton as well. A lot of Brighton fans probably upset as well. So, and Potter out maybe, but give him time. And if they don't make top 6, then he has to go, I think.
Definitely. I think that's a fair assessment, to be fair. But let's see what happens this season and, of course, next season. And we've got one more fixture before we get on to the 2 big ones, which we'll give our quick 5 predictions on. But before we get into that, we're going to be speaking about Brentford and Bournemouth. Before we get onto that, I just want to obviously mention, check out the channel that is Sani, That Sports Guy. I mean, I went to the Man United Bournemouth game, done a match day vlog on there. It was a pretty good thing. I mean, I call them Sani sessions because every sporting event I go to is called a session, otherwise known as a sesh. So make sure you check that out. But boys, forget about the Sani sesh because we're on Norris Talks Football. Bournemouth versus Brentford. Brentford have been on fire this season. Obviously, we just saw them beat Liverpool in what was a great game, to be fair, last weekend. Lads, do you think Brentford are going to inflict more misery on Bournemouth? Or do you think Bournemouth will have a much-needed win against Brentford? I'm going to go to Orist on this one first.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to unmute my. Yeah, for me, Bournemouth for me. I don't know what the hell is going on with them this season. I had a Bournemouth fan on my channel. With the Man United Bournemouth preview, he doesn't like the Bournemouth manager, and apparently he's been a bit quiet with the atmosphere. So yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with Bournemouth. Whether I don't know, they probably gave the contract too early to Gary O'Neill. Maybe they gave him the contract way too early because obviously results has not been going the right way for them. But yeah, man, Brentford for me, I think Ivan Toney's missing, but I do think they will win 2-0 for me. But yes, regarding the comments, I have put Sonny's channel links, so guys, click that link and check it out. If you go back to summer, I was in one of his sessions, so that was a great session for that. But yeah.
Right, so that's a 2-0 win. Luca,
Yeah.
I mean, I mentioned earlier that Arsenal are one of the only sides that have beaten Brentford this season at their stadium. It's a bit of a fortress. They just beat Liverpool 3-1 as well. What do you reckon? You think Brentford are going to sweep aside the Cherries?
Brentford will win this game. Bournemouth are crap, in my opinion. I think Brentford are going to win this game 2-0 in this game. I think Brentford are going to keep a clean sheet. Ivan Toney's not back from his band yet, isn't he?
No,
When's he back from his band?
I don't know. What's his ban?
It's quite a while, to be fair. I think there's a bit of a process that's going on as well. But,
Oh, is it through the betting thing? Is that why he's not playing?
yeah.
Bet6 or something.
Oh,
like that.
right.
What it is, but
Yeah, I thought he was injured.
something like that.
So
But
2-0.
no, I think Brentford will win 2-0. Brentford have been good this season. Where are Brentford in the league? Like 7th, 8th?
Brentford are ninth. Brentford are ninth, 26 points.
So how much are they from top 6?
Yeah, ninth.
So if they win this game, they'll be on 29 points, which means that they will be 2 points behind
Seventh.
Fulham currently.
Yes. Where Fulham in the league?
6th.
From the 6th at the moment.
Well, Fulham could be going in Europa League next season, like they were back in the day.
No.
The Roy Hodgson days when they face Atletico Madrid in the Europa League final.
Yeah. I think Brentford are going to win this game. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Brentford. I think Bournemouth are very bad away from home. Quite funny enough, getting knocked out of the FA Cup last week by Burnley.
Got smashed.
4, yeah,
Bloody Burnley.
4 against Burnley. I would hate it to concede 4 against Burnley. Brentford are winning this game 2-0. Very comfortable win for Brentford.
Comfortable win. KB Sports also thinks that as well. Brentford are playing really well. I mean, Bailey going to come to you. Do you think it's going to be a 2-0 win, or do you agree with KB Sports it's going to be 3-1? Or maybe you even think Bournemouth might bring a surprise and beat the Bees?
Yeah, I think this will be a good game. I think Tony is injured, but he got a knee injury. I think he went off last game with a knee injury, so he hasn't got his ban yet.
Yeah, there's still a process currently going with the betting scandal, but yeah, Bailey's right. Continue, my friend.
I think it will be a close game, and I think Brentford might nick it 1-0. But yeah, I think it will be a close game.
Close game. Ollie, do you think it's going to be a close game, or do you think in the likes of with Luca and Ulrich, do you think it's going to be a comfortable Brentford win?
Yeah, obviously without even Tony, they've got a few goal scorers, but yeah, as Lucas said, Bournemouth are crap. They're not doing well. They're not a good team. But I think they'll survive. Weirdly enough, I think they will. But luckily, maybe 15th best. But yeah, Brentford they just beat Liverpool. I mean, out of the FA Cup, which is a bit of a shame, but they won't win it. But yeah, I think they'll win this game. I'll probably agree with Bailey. I'll probably maybe 1-0 or 2-0 because they haven't really got many goal scorers apart from because Tony's out, and I can't see Bournemouth scoring. They've only really got Solanke who could score, and yeah, I think Brentford will win this game. They do well against big teams and small teams, right? And they got a good home record. Obviously, lost to Arsenal, but they'll win this game 1-0, I think, because I would go 2-0, but I don't see who would score. How Brentford will score, more than one goal without even Tony. So go with 1-0 Brentford. I think most people agree Brentford will win this game.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a sensible choice. I mean, Brentford obviously have 1-2 on the bounce. If they win this, that'll be 3. Yep. Bournemouth have lost their previous 3 games in a row. They're not in a good, point in the time of the season at all. Like you just said, Burnley. Luca obviously said Burnley beat them in the cup, convincingly as well. But listen, guys, we've got 5 minutes left before the stream ends. But before we end the stream, we want to go through the 2 big games on the weekend. We're going to have quick fire predictions. We're going to start off with the Manchester derby first. We're going to give quick fire predictions.
Always thought football's going to get in it now. Manchester derby, coming from a Manchester United supporter.
Straight into Ores, quick fire prediction. Who's going to win this game and why?
Eric Ten Hag's with Army. I'll win this game. Listen, for me, obviously we lost 6-3. We were unprepared, let's be honest, because Casemiro didn't even start. I know, obviously, our centre backs did start, but listen, now it's different. Eric Ten Hag is ready. City have been poor recently, man. Defensively, they've been poor, obviously. Obviously, they lost to Southampton. So for me, 3. I'm going to go with 3-0 Man United.
Bloody hell. I need to be drinking what he's drinking because, like Ulrich, I'm a Man United fan, but yeah, whoever his dealer is, I'm not saying Ulrich's on drugs, but whoever his drink dealer is, I need to know who that is. But bloody hell. Bailey, quick fire prediction and why. Who's winning and why?
3-2 to Manchester United. I just think City been poor at a minute and United's just been really good. So yeah, 3-2 to United.
3-2. Luca, I'm coming to you. You obviously mentioned the big Oris fan is a Man United fan. Obviously, you're a big Arsenal fan. What do you reckon?
All Arsenal fans support Man United, by the way. So Luca, you better back.
For me, coming from as a neutral, coming from an Arsenal supporter, I've got a feeling Manchester United are going to win this. I really do, because they're playing very well as a team. How much it pains me. Don't worry, we'll slap them next week. So don't worry about that. So, but no, obviously my mind's on Tottenham this weekend. I'll think about Man United after Tottenham. But for me, I think United will win this game because it's at Old Trafford, right? A lot of people have gone for Manchester City to win because they know how to respond back from the defeat. But I fancy Man United winning this. They're playing full of confidence. They're playing high. They're playing very well under Ten Hag. I know people have been a little bit sceptical that the odd Manchester United supporters have said, oh, if they lose someone like a Casemiro, for me, it is a massive blow for Manchester United. But I feel United are going to win this because there's a good connection around Ten Hag. They're playing very well. They've signed that striker, Weghorst. For me, he's only there for the short term. He's not the answer for the long term because I do think that was a bit of a panic buy if Man United are actually going to go for the long term because I think United need a proper striker in the future. Someone like an Osmian or a Martinez or a Vlahovic, someone like that. That is someone where I do think Manchester United should go and look in the summer. But I think they'll win this game. If they can keep Haaland quiet, they've got a very good chance. Martinez won the World Cup for Argentina. One of the best defenders, right? Top 5 defenders in the Premier League, in my opinion, right? Varane is looking good, right? It's looking all right at the moment, right? I fancy United winning this. I really do. But score prediction, I'm going to go for 2-1 Manchester United.
2-1 United.
I really
Man United win.
No, I do think they'll win this because it's at Old Trafford. I think United look very good. Playing full of confidence, playing full of pride.
Definitely. I mean, before we go on to the next game, I do want to say we've got a stream tomorrow evening. So if you want to see the full preview of this game, make sure to tune in tomorrow evening. We're going to go on to North London Derby because we
wait, you forgot my prediction.
What do you reckon scoreline?
I'll go really quick. 2-1 Man United. I want City to win this game, but I think United needs to do us a favour.
To win?
No, I think they'll win, but I want United to win. Do us a favour. Yeah. 2-1 United.
Perfect. And now we're going on to the big one as well. North London Derby Sunday. Huge game on the line. I'm going to go straight to Luca on this one first because he's brimming. Scoreline and why.
Oh, Super Mikateta.
This game is... I've been worried about this all week, right? And a lot of people have been negative to me on social media saying, oh, Luke, you need to back your team against your rival. How can you not back your team? For me, this game is one of these games where it will define whether Arsenal, we're going to find that this side is really been good, right? It's really good enough to win the Premier League this season. And if you want to win the league, you have to go to places like this. This is the bogey side ground for us. We haven't won here since 2014 when Thomas Rosicky scored, right? For me, they're going to be up for this game. I'll start off with Spurs first. They're going to be up for this because Harry Kane's 1 goal behind from Jimmy Greaves, right? And he knows he's winning a penalty in this game. Craig Pawson does not... We Arsenal fans don't like Craig Pawson. Every time when he referees us, we don't get our way. And you can tell this game whether he could be on a Tottenham side this weekend. You know there's going to be controversial. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a red card. For me, if we score first, I think we win the game. I do. But if they score first, maybe a draw in this game. Because for me, what I'm worried about is it's just they're going to be up for this. Like for me, I know I shouldn't really be being toxic and negative about this, but it's kind of not the good time to play Spurs at the right time because obviously they and yes, I know they just beat Crystal Palace. But Score prediction. I'm going to go for a draw in this game. I'm going for a draw. I think this game will be a draw. I do. I don't see Arsenal losing, but I don't think it won't be the result what we want. I'm going for a 2-2 draw in this game.
2-2 draw. Ollie, going to come to you. Score and why?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go with an Arsenal win. I know, as you said, we haven't won there since 2014. It's a bit like Old Trafford. Our record's terrible at this ground, but I think we can. I think we can win 2-1. I'm confident. I mean, we need to start winning games after drawing to Newcastle. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1. Bailey, do you agree? Do you think it's going to be 2-1, or do you agree with Luca? Score and why?
I'm going 3-0 Arsenal.
Come on, yes.
Arsenal are just on fire at a minute, and Spurs are dreadful. And if Villa can beat them, then surely you can. So yeah, I think 3-0 Arsenal.
3-0. We're going to finish it off with the potential resident Arsenal hater. Is he Oris? I don't know, but what do you reckon? Arsenal, Spurs, North London derby, Spurs, Arsenal at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah.
Score and why?
Yeah, for me, Ollie, you might be crying, but I do think Spurs win this 3-1. Listen, Arsenal for me, as Lucas said, it's a bogey team, man. It happens all the time. When Tottenham go to our stadium, Arsenal win. When Arsenal go to Tottenham Stadium, they lose. So for me, Tottenham will win this game, man. But yeah, I don't know why people are saying on Twitter that Lucas is negative or something like that, because in reality, Arsenal for me, they've got to prove Luca wrong in reality. So I don't know, man. Arsenal for me, yeah.
3-1 Spurs. 3-1 Spurs. I mean, obviously, people who might say Luca's negative, that's not the case. He's just a realistic fan, which is what is good to see in world of football. But before we end, guys, just make sure to check out the proper North London derby. When will that be taken again, Oris? Is that Saturday evening?
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday evening. So Friday evening, tomorrow we have
preview.
The Manchester derby preview. Saturday evening, we have the North London derby preview, courtesy of DJ Ollie himself, who will be spinning some absolute tunes on that preview. But listen, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure to check out everybody's channels. So obviously, Oris Talks Football, of course, you guys already follow. Make sure to check out Luca AFC, obviously DJ Sinclair. Bailey, do you have an Instagram by any chance?
DJ Sinclair.
Yeah. Bailey Francis, YouTube and Insta.
Yeah, make sure to check it out. And then, make sure to check out Sani, that sports guy, both on Instagram and YouTube for original content. But listen, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, keep doing what you're doing. And until next time, guys.